Install the Brite-Lite 3-to-2 wire converter for the trailer wiring system on my RV. I've always had a problem where I could never get brake lights to work, and I come to find out that my RV actually has a 3-wire system. One wire runs the brake lights, one wire runs the turn signals, and one wire runs the running lights. And because of that, I need this device to combine the brake and turn signals into one line. And I guess by installing this device, it makes it so that there's no, like, I guess, closed circuit. So if you step on your brake, your turn signal doesn't light up, or you turn on your turn signal and your brake light starts flashing. It might make a little more sense when we're back there, because you'll see my 3 lights, and that might help for a visual. But this simply just gets wired in line with your trailer wiring. I've already located my brake wire under there, so we'll just go ahead and find a place that we can stick this to, wire it up, probably throw some heat shrink butt plugs on it, and clean her up, zip tie, make sure everything's good, and then give it a test. Shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so what I meant when I said I have 3 separate lights in the back is exactly that. I have one of these lights is a brake light, one of them is a turn signal, one of them is a running light. And as such, in my 7-way down here, even though it looks like a normal one, it's not wired correctly. And that's why we're going to go ahead and install that device. But when I took this off, it kind of spun on me, and I lost track of what's where. So I'm going to have to get the wife out here to help me relabel these guys, and then we'll go underneath and take a look at what we got going on under there. Okay, so the wife's not home, so we're going to need to figure out something else to do. And luckily, I made this little diagram when I was trying to figure out what was going on back there. So this is a diagram of how it's supposed to be wired. And if you notice, where my issue is my brake is at the 12-volt power area. I don't know if I have anything connected to the brake controller. I don't have a brake controller that I'm aware of, and the ground, but we've got this undone here. So we'll take a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the running lights, and then I'm going to test with my light tester the electrodes, or where they connect, and see which one comes on. And then based on that, maybe I'll then turn my left turn signal on, at least get a sense of direction, and I can mark those. And then based on where those 2 are, I can mark all the rest of it, and I don't need any more help figuring it out. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're under the back of the RV here. We've got our wiring harness pulled out, separated and labeled. Looks like it's been spliced into before. I don't know, maybe this is original factory. So what we're gonna do is wire the brake, left turn and right turn into here. And what that's going to create for us is just a two outlet signal with a stoplight and a turn light, which is, I guess, pretty standard for those, you know, like boats, 4-way flats, things like that. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I want to set things. Originally, I was thinking, you know, we could put it up here, keep it up out of the way, but I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to run any extra wire. I kind of wanted to plug straight in, you know, to the 7-way with just these wires. And I mean, I've got a nice spot right here that I can mount it, and it would give me, you know, plenty of room inside. I just don't know if I want it down here. It's a stickum, so we're gonna have to clean off this area, stick it. I don't think it gets too much water. I mean, you know, my tires are all the way up there. I highly doubt any road wash is really spiking up down here. And, you know, I mean, I doubt it's ever been washed, but it still doesn't look horribly dirty. So I think it might be all right here. And we might just go ahead and try and wire it in there. So that's where we're at right now. Just kind of looking around, seeing. When I finally figure out what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and clean the area up. Another thing that we need to keep into consideration here is that we also need to attach a ground. You know, so I mean, that puts me, hell, I don't know where that puts me. I mean, we could always maybe just tap into this bar here, mount the ground there with the self-tapping screw. I'll have to check that out as well. All right, so we're all wired in. I've got some waterproof heat shrink plugs here, so we'll go ahead and heat shrink those down because I just tested everything. Definitely want to make sure you test before you button everything up, but you know, ran the brake lights, turn signals, everything works. So we're going to heat these guys down. I used some Gorilla Glue, put a nice bead around it, as well as the sticky tape, because I don't really just trust sticky tape. Ground, we put a little, I don't know what you would call it, a little hole clamp. It's just going to go right through here on the back side of the of where the 7-way goes. So we'll go ahead and get this all installed. We taped up right here. I did not replace the splicing. We're just leaving it alone. Taped it all back up. Go ahead and get everything installed, and maybe try and clean it up a little bit and see what it looks like after that. All right, so here we are. We're finally all installed. We ran it through one more test. Remember, we tested once we hooked up to this to make sure it was working properly, and then once I installed everything into the 7-way, I tested the 7-way again, both on the 7-way flats and with that 4-way flat right there as well. So everything seems to work, which is good news. It means we can maybe finally start using the car dolly or taking the boat somewhere with us. So that's very exciting. Wasn't terribly difficult, pretty straightforward. I think I kind of lucked out with how the back of my RV is and the space here. Yours might be different, but still really pretty easy. The wires come pre-soldered on this, so if you wanted to solder the wires, you could do that. I had thought about doing it, but then I got those shrink plugs instead. And so we'll see how those work. If it gives me, you know, trouble, we'll pull it apart and we'll go ahead and solder it up. I didn't feel like bringing it out right now. Anyway, nice, easy. Questions, comments, drop them below. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Maybe think about subscribing to the channel. Hope this helped you out. Have a great day.